One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides up to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Man, we made it through one more freaking week, man. It seems like every week we, are getting ourselves into the craziness of the world, man. But hey, I'm very honored that you guys are here with me right here, right now, man. So, over the weekend, Trump made probably the biggest deal, I think, in trade ever. And so I have it titled, and we're going to be talking about it as well as international issues, of course. U.S. makes $750 billion deal with the EU, and as well as Trump says Israel needs to finish the job. That's his quote. That was actually from like 2-3 days ago, and then there's been lead up of currently what's happening and what the discussions of Gaza is and all of that. Anyways, so real quick, before we get into the gnarliness, man, before we do that, we got to make sure that we do our call to actions. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But here comes the money part. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there. But check it out. This is what allows us to speak the way that we do. We don't rely on crazy radical views to get money. So we're 100% funded by you guys. So I really appreciate your guys' contributions. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV. We post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show. Listen, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, all the great shit. Make sure you guys follow me over there. If you guys are not in the Discord yet, Naomi's throwing the link in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that up as well. And last but not least, all super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are, of course, going to be presented live onto the show and presented and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take away from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms scrolling for the remainder of the show. And, of course, I have it up and ready on the email side of things, so if anybody does send anything in, well, I will see it. But for the rest of you pocket watchers
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit, get the likes up, everybody. Get the likes up. So, yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. All right, so good to see everyone. Hopefully you're all enjoying your morning. I see Gary up in the building as well as Hardwire 1%er. Good to see you, kind sir, as well as Naomi. Of course, appreciate her helping out the channel as she does. We got brother Steve Easy as well. We got Peaches, hopefully you're doing well. You're actually not a man, so yeah, I shouldn't say that. We got Finding Dory as well as not a man, so good to see you as well. Trump is a lame, 100%, Steve Easy says. Hey, man, well, that's why we got the poll up right now. If you guys see, there's an active poll going on. I said, how is Trump doing? Also, little side note, likes for Mike, of course, right? W Trump, L Trump, rare W, or needs to be impeached. I want to hear your guys' opinions on this, so you guys go ahead and let me know. what you guys think about what's going on right now, man. So anyways, we've got, as well as Tiffany Lance, good to see you. Good morning as well, not a man. We got Path Killer, my man, much love, honor, respect. Hopefully you're doing well. And Slutty Gorilla Biscuits, my man, saying in and out for work. Good morning, everybody. I'm lurking. And thank you real quick before we even, started the show. Minutes before we started the show, Gorilla Biscuits sent out 2 gifted memberships to you guys, man. So I very much appreciate your contribution, my man. Thank you for that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and present the news. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with the European Union to purchase $750 billion in U.S. energy. And let's go ahead and hear what they're talking about here. Now let's get this on the proper speed.
Welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Just days ahead of a deadline between the United States and their most crucial, biggest trading partner, the European Union, a deal has been reached, at least preliminarily. As you can see this from the Associated Press, breaking the U.S. and the European Union have announced a trade framework after Trump holds a tariff talk with the top European official, as they've reached a tariff deal on Sunday after a brief meeting between President Trump and the European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. A White House deadline was just days away from imposing punishing taxes on the 27-member EU. These make or break talks were meant to head off trade penalties and promise retaliation from Europe that could have sent shockwaves through economies around the world. President Trump and von der Leyen.
What's up, Bald Card? Good morning.
Held private talks at one of Trump's golf courses in Scotland, then emerged a short time later saying they had reached an across-the-board agreement. Let's take you out to some comments just a little bit ago from the European Commission chief here, and let's listen in to them on Live Now.
This is the second building block reaffirming the transatlantic partnership. Allow me to go into some details. We have stabilized on a single 15% tariff rate for the vast majority of EU exports.
Real quick, before she gets into it, what I thought was really interesting, surprisingly, actually, she came out, this woman right here, she came out while she was talking with Trump. I can't remember if it was in the Oval Office. I can't remember. This just a couple days ago or yesterday or whatever. She sits down and says, yes, we have an uneven trade deal right now where the U.S. is not getting, there's too many sidelines for the United States, and it's unfair to the United States, which I was like mind blown by that. I was like, holy shit, like W for her for actually admitting a problem.
This rate applies across most sectors, including cars, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals. This 15% is a clear ceiling, so no stacking, all inclusive. So it gives much needed clarity for our citizens and businesses, and this is absolutely crucial. Today we have also agreed on a 0 tariffs on a number of strategic products. This includes all aircraft and component parts, certain chemicals, certain generics, semiconductor equipment, certain agricultural products, natural resources, and...
Now, the one thing you're going to hear that she's not going to say is any type of wind energy, windmills, green energy, all that bullshit, which Trump did call out. He goes, he went on a rant with her, sitting right next to her. Him. He was sitting there ranting like fucking windmills are the worst thing in the world. They're blah blah blah, and they are. They really actually are very inefficient in that kind of way. And those big ass turbines, to be able to get those motherfuckers to spin, you know what you have to use to keep those motherfuckers spinning? Grease, which is petroleum. And there's so many layers to, hey, yeah, it looks good on the outside, but realistically, how damaging is it actually? So
critical raw materials. And we will keep working to add more products to this list. On steel and aluminium, the European Union and the US face the common external challenge of global overcapacity. We will work together to ensure fair global competition and to reduce barriers between us. Tariffs will be cut and a quota system will be put in place. We will also increase our energy cooperation. Purchases of US energy products will diversify our sources of supply and contribute to Europe's energy security. We will replace Russian gas and oil by significant purchases of US LNG oil.
Man, that's a W. That's actually the first time I'm actually hearing what she just said right there. That they're going to basically drop all of Russian's oil to essentially buy our oil, which is our LNG, which is fantastic.
And nuclear fuels. US AI chips will help power our AI gigafactories and help the US to maintain their technology edge. Today, with this deal, we are creating more predictability for our businesses. In these turbulent times, this is necessary for our companies to be
What's up, 13, my man? Good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning as well.
able to plan and to invest. We're ensuring immediate tariff relief. This will have a clear impact on the bottom lines of our companies. And with this deal, we are securing access to our largest export market. At the same time, we will give better access for American products to our market. This will benefit European consumers and make...
Now, this will be great. I mean, for instance, like, we're not allowed to sell American cars as of right now. Before this agreement, we really weren't able to sell any of our American made cars. We couldn't do shit over there. They could have all, but they could sell all their shit here, which is, a super unfair deal for sure.
our businesses more competitive.
But that's just one of many, 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 many things.
Provides a framework from which we will further reduce tariffs on more products, address non-tariff barriers, and cooperate on economic security. Because when the European Union and the United States work together as partners, the benefits are tangible.
What's up, Christopher Collins? Good morning.
On both sides. At the same time, we're building a true foreign economic policy. And for this, we have started at home. We're taking bold action to make Europe more competitive, more innovative, and more dynamic. Our single market with its 450 million consumers.
My brother Mount High knows exactly the deal. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Very much appreciate that. And for the left-handed tobacco, yes, sir, absolutely. Good morning.
Is our greatest asset and our safe harbor, especially in turbulent times. We're also creating new trade partnerships around the world, expanding from the 76 we already have. We've concluded negotiations in the last month with Mercosur, Mexico, and Indonesia. In an unsettled world, Europe is a reliable partner, and we will continue to deliver deals.
Well, you guys are a reliable partner in what facet? Like actually being able to, stay by a deal, or because you guys got a lot of money? Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's two of the biggest economic countries coming together, such as the United States and the European Union. That's two of the biggest markets in the world, man. Aside from like India, which no one's allowed to fucking touch, right? Like they're a big consumer as well, but they only like buying their own shit. So
that help safeguard our prosperity. Finally,
what's up, Steve Posey?
I want to thank President Trump personally for his personal commitment and leadership to achieve this breakthrough. He's a tough negotiator, but he is also a deal maker. I want to thank Commissioner Maros Sefcovic.
I say that he's fair, if anything. I think he's fair in that regard.
And his team for their tireless work and skillful steer. They've done most of the heavy lifting. And I want to thank our member states for their trust and their commitment. Our unity is our strength at home and abroad. We will continue to work hard for the benefit of all Europeans. Thank you very much.
Commission President.
Okay, we don't need to sit here and do questions back and forth. We understand what the deal is here. So we'll go ahead and move on from that. We're going to move on into a little bit of international affairs here. This is actually, let me make sure that we're doing this in the correct order. We're not. Let me go ahead and reorganize that. Bam, bam. All right, now what we're going to do is 3 hours ago, there was a breaking news ordeal. There were some hikers that were murdered. A couple killed in front of children at Arkansas State Park. What in the fuck is going on here, man? All right, let's go ahead and pull this up, see what's happening.
I do want to take you out to another developing story that we are covering, this one out of the Arkansas area, as police in Arkansas are searching for a suspect in the deaths of a couple who investigators said were attacked while on a wooded walking trail with their two very young daughters. Clinton David Brink, 43 years old, and Kristen Amanda Brink, 41, were found dead Saturday at Devil's Den State Park, that's over in Washington County, in a suspected homicide. That's according to Arkansas State Police. And you see their photos right there on your screen. Now, their daughters, who are 7 and 9, were not injured and are being cared for by family members. Officials describe the killer as a white male wearing dark shorts, a dark ball cap, sunglasses, and fingerless gloves. He was seen driving toward a park exit in a black four-door sedan with a license plate partly covered by tape. The car, possibly Mazda, may have been traveling on State Highway 170 or State Highway 220 near the park in a rural wooded area with limited cell phone service. Again, all of this here is according to police. I do want to pop this up on your screen. This is coming from Arkansas State Police once again, as they do say a couple who was killed at Devil's Den State Park on Saturday, July 26th, 2025, was hiking with their two young daughters when they were attacked. The girl.
Man, it wasn't even like. That's insane. Leaving your two daughters to see that. That is so fucking gnarly. They're 7 and 9 years old. Luckily, they were not injured and are safe with family members. What was the deal? Why? Who did this? Like, I know the suspect is still out there or whatever, but like, no one knows a motive?
Who are 7 and 9 were not injured and are safe with family members. They are providing updates here, not quite in a news conference just yet, but for now, essentially just putting out these.
Good to see you, by the way. And Arkansas State Police put this out on X, by the way. This is the next slide
statements.
Here.
Now, they did follow it up with the victims have been identified as Clinton David Brink, 43, and Kristen Amanda Brink, 41, who recently moved to Prairie Grove from another state. Again, investigators are saying this does appear to be a homicide. Shay Lewis, the secretary of the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, said rangers had stepped up patrols there at Devil's Den after this. In a statement, Lewis said, quote, "Our hearts are with the victims' loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. The safety of our visitors and staff is our highest priority, and we are working closely with Arkansas State Police and various law enforcement officials as the investigation continues."
So obviously, if obviously as the week goes through, I'm sure that there's going to be information regarding this whole ordeal, and I'll try to keep you guys updated on those, basically the motives here, why that fucking happened, especially in front of two children of their own. I mean, that's got to be miserable. So we have another breaking news story that's going on. There was a gas station shooting. Gunmen opened fires inside of a store, and 4 people were struck in this assault. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This was as of 2 hours ago.
Shooter on the run after 4 people were shot at a Detroit gas station morning. This happening around 4 a.m. local time. 1 person dead, 3 others had non-life-threatening injuries. This is all under investigation, so there are so many unknowns at this point. I do want to take you back out to that news conference right now, again, held with Detroit Police as they break down all of the latest.
LKILL, and I'm the commanding officer of the Detroit Police Department Homicide Division. On today's date, officers from the 12th Precinct received a police run for a shooting at the gas station located at Puritan and Fairfield, located on the city's west side. Officers from the 12th Precinct responded to this location and observed a male in his 30s deceased at the location. He was pronounced deceased at this location. Through the course of the investigation, officers were updated with information that 3 additional individuals were also shot from this location. One was privately conveyed to an area hospital. One was conveyed by our...
Brutal. We got Brother Lee Lance up in the building, by the way. Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Good to see you.
Detroit Fire Department medics, and another individual was treated here on scene by medics. At this time, the non-fatal victims are treated for non-life-threatening injuries. This does appear to be an isolated incident. The individual who is responsible for this, we are asking this individual to turn themselves in to any Detroit Police Department precinct. Our condolences go out to the family. I will not be releasing any other information at this time until the family of the deceased has been notified by our homicide investigators. We're still very early in the course of our investigation here on scene with the Detroit Police Department homicide team taking...
Yeah, this just happened at 4 a.m. So, just a few hours ago.
Lead on this investigation. This does appear to be an isolated incident, and we are investigating this for additional. If anyone else who were present at the scene...
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. He just admitted as well in the beginning here. He said, I'm not going to be giving out any more information on this, so that is it. What's up, Brady Rodriguez? Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. We all made it. But there is some chaos in the world, and we're going to go ahead and move on into the international side of things, where Trump speaks on Gaza, on the war there in Gaza, as well as Russia, Ukraine. So we're going to bring that up. Let's go ahead and present that for you guys. Bam.
She said that the European nations are going to step up very substantially.
Now, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. I did watch this this morning, right before we got on the show, and this was a very interesting conversation right here.
What's the importance of free speech today?
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Yeah, you guys are very proud about fake free speech. That's the same. I mean, you guys don't have any like constitution or anything that actually says that you guys have some sort of free speech, but you know, it just shows that the government can go in there and do anything they want at any time, essentially. But they say they have free speech. Anyways, we got Slutty Gorilla Biscuit sending in another membership, man. I very much appreciate you making it rain on us, my man. That's 3 already. My man, thank you for that.
What's your advice on the small boats crisis? How would you deal with it? What's your advice on dealing with the small boats crisis?
Perhaps they are, but we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
What's your advice on the small boats crisis? How would you deal with it?
Brother Lee Land's coming in with the 9 months, by the way, saying, been a great 9 months on here. Hey, man, I very much appreciate you. Very much so, kind sir. Very much appreciate you and your contributions to the channel. Make sure you guys hit the like button, by the way. Very much appreciate that as well. We got Project VOPod over there. Jake, my man, hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. I definitely know that we are. We got Frederick Frame as well. Good to see you, kind sir. Good to see you. All right, let's go.
What's your advice on dealing with the small boats crisis in this country?
What is it? It's about the boats coming over the channel, so we're taking a lot of action to stop people coming over the channel who shouldn't be here, stopping them coming in the first place.
Well, immigration is a big factor.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing is the Brits over there found out a little late, that, hey, maybe this was a really shitty decision just allowing people to come into our fucking country. And so far, they've already gotten rid of 30,000. I think that's the number. He's going to say it right here. But they've already basically deported 30,000, and which is no humongous number, especially when you're talking in the United States. But it's a start.
And I think, frankly, if they're coming from other countries and you don't know who they are, and are they coming from prisons? We have them where they came in from prisons. We're moving them all out. We had a border last June, just recent, last month. We had 0 people come into the country, 0, other than coming through legal means. If you're stopping immigration and stopping the wrong people, I give my hats are off to you. You're doing not a good thing. You're doing a fantastic thing. So I know nothing about the boats. But if the boats are loaded up with bad people, and they usually are, because, other countries don't send their best. They send people that they don't want. And they're not stupid people. And they send
What's up, SNS? Good morning to you as well, kind sir.
People that they don't want. And I've heard that you've taken a much stronger stance on it.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work stopping them coming. We just signed an agreement to return them, and we've returned 35,000, in fact, under the first year of this Labour government, of people who shouldn't be in this country. So we're very pleased that we're getting on with returning people who've got no right to be here.
That's great. As somebody that loves this, I love this country. My mother was born in, as you know, born in Scotland. And it's an incredible place, a beautiful place. And if that be the case, I congratulate you. That's exactly, because, Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And they've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it. And you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally. And what happens is there'll be murders, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want.
But
and
we
they
all
send
know
them to you, and they send them to us. And you've got to stop them. And I hear that you've taken a very strong stand on immigration, and taking a strong stand on immigration is imperative.
I agree with that. But he just reiterated shit we already knew.
I don't know. I mean, based on television, I would say not particularly, because children look very hungry. But we're giving a lot of money and a lot of food. And other nations are now stepping up. I know that this nation is.
It's a humanitarian crisis.
Right.
It's an absolute catastrophe. And nobody wants to see that. And I think...
that's a good point, Steve.
People in Britain are revolted at seeing what they're seeing on their screens. So we've got to get to that ceasefire. And thank you, Mr. President, for leading on that. And also to just get more and more aid in. And again, America's done a lot on this. A lot of countries have done a lot. We're now working with Jordan on getting direct aid drops in. But this is a desperate situation.
Do you think Israel has done all it can do to avoid civilian casualties down?
Well, I think nobody's done anything great over there. The whole place is a mess. It'll get straightened out, but it's a mess. They have to get food and safety right now, and ultimately.
Minnesota.
Look, Hamas did a horrible thing, and they paid a big price, but Hamas did a horrible thing. But I always said, when you get down to the last 20 or 10, they're down to 20. We got a lot of hostages out, and you helped us, by the way.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of hostages out over the last 6 months that I've been in. I've been in office for 6 months now. And these hostages have been, many of them have come to the Oval Office and they thanked me so profusely. I said, you don't have to thank.
What's up, Brother Frank, my man? Good morning to you as well.
Thank me. I did what I have to do. But I always said, when you get down to the final 20, they won't release them because that's like their shield. Very unfair. And so something's going to have to be done. And they were really unwilling to talk. But I've said that. We'll get down to the final 10 or 20. It turns out to be 20. I thought that would be the number. I said, they're not going to be dealing with us. And, many.
Well, and what he's talking about right here is regarding the hostage situation over there. And yes, there's like 20, I forget the exact amount, 23, something like that, but 20 something. And now, of course, they're not wanting to negotiate, of course. And I told you guys this yesterday, or the day before, whatever. It was actually probably Saturday. I might have mentioned it. No, it must have been Friday. Must have been. But nonetheless, I'm like, they're not going to give up. They're not going to give up these hostages. They're not going to do that. Why would they do that? That's their. That is their only way of survival at this point. And right now, they're just kicking the can down the road. Unfortunately, and they know that. They very much know that. There's only so long that you can kick this can down the, road. So, dude, honestly, you got to. And he's right in these kind of aspects. Maybe there's got to be an alternative. I mean, those hostages are still taken, bro. Like, that's crazy. People don't talk about that shit. They're very much focused on the Gaza Strip, which I understand. Because there is a lot of craziness going on with that whole thing. I get it, but don't let that forget. Don't forget that there's hostages right now that are still hostages. Like, let those motherfuckers go, man. And then we can go ahead and start talking, for real. Anyways, but they know that that'll be the end of them. So
the hostages are now dead. You know that.
What's up, Mark?
And parents come up to me. A woman came up to me 2 weeks ago. She just wants her son back. And I said, how's he doing? My son's dead, sir, but he's with them. And we want the body. She wanted the body of this young boy, of her young, beautiful son, just as much as if he were alive. It was just as important. There was no difference. And it's a tragic situation, frankly. But we get a lot out, and now possibly the fight will have to be a little bit different. But they have totally changed now. They don't want to give hostages. Very unfair. You have 20 living people. In this case, living. You have many dead people too that they want to get
a long time as well.
Yeah, they have 20 living people, and I told Israel, I told Bibi that you're gonna have to now maybe do it a different way.
Do you think a ceasefire is even possible, Mr. President?
Yeah, a ceasefire is possible, but you have to get it. You have to end it. You're talking about with Israel's. You're talking about there because we have many.
Right, they have to give up the hostages.
Ceasefires going on. The whole world is
pretty simple.
If I weren't around, you'd have right now 6 major wars going on. India would be fighting with Pakistan.
Yeah. What's up, Hook Dog? Good to see you, man. Good morning.
You see what
Happy
we just
Monday.
did yesterday with 2 nations that we're trading with. And during the trade, I said, I'm not going to do any trade deal unless you guys settle your differences. And we got it settled in 24 hours. I mean, they just announced it was settled, which is a tremendous thing. But Serbia, Kosovo is another one. We have many hotspots that were at war. I think a very big one was India and Pakistan, because you're talking about 2 nuclear nations. That was a very big one. And we get help from the UK. The Prime Minister's helped. We have cases where we specifically need the help because somebody comes from here that you're aware of. And, when you come from a country, you can do things. And I call up the Prime Minister, and all of a sudden, he's able to do things. True also with other presidents and prime ministers. But we've done it. Nobody's ever done what we've done. We have 6 different major if you take a look at Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo, they've been fighting for 31 years, 8 million people dead. It was going on. Nobody could go to that part of Africa. They were being killed. If to even walk there, you're being killed with machetes. And it was a violent situation. And I was able to, they liked Trump. They wanted to make a trade deal with Trump. They wanted us to take their rare earth. They want to give us their rare earth. And I got to know the leader of the Congo. I got to know both of them indirectly. And I called him. I said, let's end the war. I don't want anything until you end the war. And we ended the war. As you know, the foreign ministers came up 2 weeks ago, and the leaders are going to be coming very shortly to Washington, Rwanda and Congo. I mean, that's another one that we did. So we've done a lot. It's an honor to do it. It's not hard for me to do it. And I use, not in all cases, but I use a combination of knowing them a little bit, or in some cases knowing them a lot. I know, the leaders of Pakistan and India, I know them very well.
And economics.
And they're in the midst of a trade deal, and yet they're talking about nuclear weapons. They say, this is crazy. So I said, I'm not doing a trade deal with you guys. And they want the trade deal. They need it. I'm not doing a trade deal.
See, the trade deal part, that's the economic part, to force them to stop doing something. They're not going to just necessarily... Sometimes they will do it off of just your word or whatever, but majority of the times, that's the way he negotiates on a geopolitical scale.
Deal with you if you're going to have war. And that's a war that spreads to other countries. You'll get nuclear dust. We'll all get nuclear dust. When they start using nuclear weapons, that stuff blows all over the place and really bad things happen. So maybe we're being a little selfish when we want to save wars too, but we stopped a lot of wars, and it's a great honor to have done it. Thank you all very much. We're going to be talking inside very much about Gaza and the humanitarian aspects of Gaza.
Yeah. Mr. President, what about Russia and Ukraine? You're talking about ceasefire. What's the way?
I would have said 5 times we would have had a deal. I've spoken to President Putin a lot. I got along with him very well. But 5 times, and every time 4 times maybe, but we've had discussions. You and I have had discussions. Yeah. We thought we had that settled numerous times. And then President Putin goes out and starts launching rockets into some city.
Yeah. Shows you that he totally disregards what the fuck you just told him 30 seconds ago on the phone. Now all of a sudden, he's like, yeah, no worries. We're going to calm it down. And then as soon as he gets off the phone, boom, you know what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, and kills a lot of people in a nursing home or whatever. You have bodies lying all over the street. And I say that's not the way to do it. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed in President Putin. Very disappointed in him. So we're going to have to look, and I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen. Okay?
There we go. Remember that 50-day warning he gave him, basically on sanctions? Well, he said that. I'm thinking about reducing that number. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're 100% caught up because there is some things, I think, on Epstein that just came out regarding the Epstein files so let me go ahead and bring this up for you guys. It just came out, so I might as well show you guys this. It just came out 14 minutes ago. I do have some on the back burner for you guys, but since this just came out. All right, says Epstein files. Maxwell has not asked for pardon, Trump says. All right, let's go ahead and figure this out.
I get right back into our headlines here as we bring you the latest on the files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime accomplice, has been subpoenaed to testify before Congress in just 2 weeks. This comes after the U.S. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche conducted a 2-day interview with Maxwell at the federal courthouse in Tallahassee, Florida. Maxwell's attorney says she answered all of Blanche's questions.
Yo, my man, Slutty Gorilla Biscuits coming in with I think that is his 4th. Let me see, 1, 2, that is his 4th. Man, making it rain over here. Shit. Hey, man, very much appreciate that. And thank you for being here, engaging with us, having a good time.
Truthfully, honestly, and to the best of her ability. She's currently serving out a 20-year prison sentence after being convicted of sex trafficking minors. When asked if Maxwell has asked for a pardon from President Trump, her attorney said this.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche.
Real quick, and he did. He made that shit happen. He said, nah, we're making 5 happen. So, my man, thank you for gifting out 5 memberships, man. Thank you very much for that. It helps out not only me, but everyone in the Breakfast Club that gets one too, man.
But it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
Brief remarks right there. He said, just yet. You'll hear that in quotes. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about all of this. So let's bring in Ronald Chapman II, a federal criminal defense attorney over at Chapman Law Group. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here this morning.
Oh shit, you're getting an MRI done, man. Hook Dog, hopefully you're doing well, man. We'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask you about that quote. When he was asked if Ghislaine Maxwell had asked for a pardon from President Trump, the attorney said, quote, "Not just yet." What does that mean to you in your legal expertise?
That means it's coming.
There.
Well, it sounds like a good sign for Maxwell. It seems like something is on the table. And here's how this would work. She sits down for a proffer and provides as much information as she can to the federal government. And they say, hey, let's make a deal. And what's on the table for a deal like that? She has a pending appeal. She's looking for a pardon, looking to get out of prison. And it looks like that is something that's still on the table, provided her cooperation is successful.
How exactly, when you talk about the pardon, if it were offered, and you kind of touched on this, but would she simply be released immediately? What does it really mean overall?
Yeah, so the Constitution gives the president the power to grant a pardon. In fact, no formal petition needs to be given in order for a pardon to be provided to somebody. Once that happens, once a pardon is executed, then she's effectively released from prison. I would expect that to happen within 2 or 3 days based on DOJ processing. Now, what's very important here is she wouldn't be given a pardon immediately. The tactics likely would be she provides cooperation, people who are involved with Jeffrey Epstein are investigated, possibly she testifies on the witness stand, and as a benefit of all of that, she would get a pardon. So I wouldn't expect it soon, but I would expect some news related to her cooperation to come out very soon.
I wanted to ask you because, as I mentioned here off the top, she has been subpoenaed to testify before Congress. So what are her options there? Does she have to testify? Can she plead the Fifth? How does all of that work?
Absolutely.
So when somebody is subpoenaed by Congress, they have to testify or they will face contempt of Congress. In this case, it would be a misdemeanor. However, she does have her Fifth Amendment right.
That's a misdemeanor? That's so crazy. They're like, so what? Fucking misdemeanor. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? That's fucking crazy.
Available to her, which means that she can plead the Fifth on every question or on only questions that she believes.
Well, they can force her to answer certain things.
Lead to,
but if they actually push it,
potential culpability if she was perhaps investigated for those. Now, likely what will happen is that she will probably negotiate the circumstances of what she will talk about ahead of time. Her attorney will do that, and there will be a limited statement made to Congress. Another thing that we need to address, though, are documents. This subpoena likely relates to documents that Congress wants to look at, so-called the Epstein files. I would expect for her attorneys to have to provide a wealth of documents and information over to Congress in advance of that subpoena, and that's probably going to do a lot more than her testimony.
What information do we think that Congress is looking for? What kind of questions are we talking about? Is all of that still kind of up in the air?
Well, what Congress should be looking for is information that would help them draft legislation that would be related to sex trafficking. They would also look for information to suggest that.
What's up, Brother Blair? My man, good to see you.
Or to see if other federal agencies did their jobs appropriately. That's what's within Congress's mission. Of course, we all know that Congress doesn't just look for what it's supposed to look for. Oftentimes, they're looking to see if there's maybe some political dirt that might be available related to other people, perhaps those involved with Jeffrey Epstein. We're hearing about 100 names. That could be a relatively large amount of powerful people, politically connected people. And I imagine that is something that right now that Congress is very interested in getting into. Surprisingly, though, the vote to subpoena her received bipartisan support from a lot of people in Congress, which was quite surprising if this list does contain a lot of high-profile people on it.
Right. That is interesting that they would vote for that. Interesting. All right. So real quick, what we're going to go ahead and show you guys is not the entirety of this. This is the one of the last stories we're going to do here. But remember that number that we were talking about regards to the sanctions that Trump threatened on Putin for Russia, the starting in 50 days or whatever. Well, here's the official interview or sit down regarding Trump and the UK over there. But He set a new deadline for 10 or 12 days. That's his quote, 10 or 12 days. So let's go ahead and bring this up. And we'll go on, and we're not going to play the whole thing because this is a super long ordeal here. But this is it.
Well,
right?
Let me welcome you, Mr. President, to Scotland, and fantastic to be here at
in Scotland.
With you. Thank you so much for showing us around and having this opportunity to sit in this fantastic ballroom, which is absolutely incredible, and to start talking about
What's up, Carney? Good morning, kind sir.
some of the issues that are most pressing in your country, in my country, and in particular, we've had the opportunity to talk about the situation in Gaza and the intolerable situation, including images of starvation. And I think both of us know that we have to get to that ceasefire, and we have to increase humanitarian aid in. And thank you for what you've already been doing, are doing, and are committed to.
Right. I mean, granted, just put $60 million to food over there in Gaza, but that's because if there wasn't going to be any type of aid, there was definitely going to be some sort of, I mean, they could start using, genocide nomenclature, which they've already been saying, of course, but you guys know that that is a humongous threat if you're, fucking them up and then the innocent people are starving. That's international war crimes, not just on a war crime level, but on a genocidal level.
Because without you, this would not be capable of resolution. And I think that if we can work not just on the pressing issues
What's up, Motobomb?
of the ceasefire, but also on this issue of getting humanitarian aid in at volume, at speed. And then we've discussed a plan for what then happens afterwards. I think we can do our very best to alleviate what is an awful situation at the moment. So,
Gunpowder Nitro as well, my man.
Thank you very much for the discussion we've had so far and the discussion we're about to continue on that really important issue. But it's fantastic to be here. Thank you for your hospitality and to see this amazing golf course. I'll invite you to a football ground at some stage and we can exchange sports.
It's been great being with you, and thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. And you've done a fantastic job with regard to the trade deal. They wanted a trade deal here for years, many years, through many different terms of different people, and you got it done. So I want to congratulate you on that, and it's a great deal for both. It brings unity. We didn't need unity, but it brings us even closer together. I think it's good for both parties.
I agree. I mean, if you can make a deal that's fair, yeah, of course.
We also discussed, obviously, Gaza. And I think before we get to phase two, which is, what's going to happen afterwards, we want to get the children fed. We made a contribution a week ago of $60 million.
See, that's what I was just explaining, is that the $60 million that came from the United States for the food aid.
All going into food. We only hope the food goes to the people that need it, because so much, as you know, when you do something there, it gets taken by Hamas or somebody, but it gets taken. But and we're prepared to help. We want to help. It's a terrible situation. The whole thing is terrible. It's been bad for many years. But it's great to hear you feel the same way that I do. We have to help on a humanitarian basis before we do anything. We have to get the kids fed. So we've been sending in a lot of food. A lot of the food that's been going there has been sent by the United States. I spoke yesterday with the president of the European Union, Ursula, who was terrific also on the subject, and she's going to play a big role also in helping us. So we have a good group of countries who are going to help with the humanitarian needs, which is food, sanitation, and some other things. It's very difficult to deal with Hamas. As I said, we got a tremendous amount of hostages out, but it would take place in drips and drabs. You'd get 10, you get 5, you get 2, you get 10, 12. We get 12 one time. Many of them would come to the White House, and they were so thankful. But I always said, when you get down to the final 10 or 20, you're not going to be able to make a deal with these people, because they use them as a shield. And when they give them up, they no longer have a shield. And the people of Israel feel so strongly about the hostages.
Well, that's their only pawn. And not only a shield, but they're definitely a pawn.
Some people would take a different view, but they feel so strongly about the hostages. So that's an ongoing process. Hamas has become very difficult to deal with in the last couple of days, because they don't want to give up these last 20, because they think as long as we have them, they have protection. But I don't think it can work that way. So I'm speaking to Bibi Netanyahu, and we are coming up with various plans. We're going to see. It's a very difficult situation. If they didn't have the hostages, things would go very quickly. but they do, and we know where they have them in some cases, and you don't want to go riding roughshod over that area because that means those hostages will be killed. Now, there are some people that would say, well, that's the price you pay, but we don't like.
And did they say that there's 20 living hostages left? I mean, I don't think that there's, I mean, how many got to be alive now out of the bunch? It's so sad to think about. But whether they're alive or dead, it doesn't matter. They need to go back to their reunited with their families. You know what I mean? This shit is ridiculous with this whole hostage thing. The only thing that I support the United States doing in this whole ordeal is for us to only go in and get those hostages and get the fuck out immediately. No sticking around on none of that bullshit. That's the only thing I would ever support. But it's insane that these hostages are still fucking caged up, man, underground.
To say that, we don't want to say that. And I don't think the people of Israel want to say that either, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people would say just get it done and whatever it is. You could also say speed might be better for the hostages. You go through, with speed, you may have a better chance because they're in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble. You saw October 7th, and you saw what the damage and the horror that they committed. People can't forget that. They tend to forget it, but they can't forget. That was one of the most evil things I've ever seen. And you just cannot forget that. So we're very much involved. The Prime Minister's involved. I'm involved. And I think I can speak. We just signed a very big trade deal, the biggest of them all yesterday, right? And
yep, that is true. He did.
The European Union is very much involved in wanting to help with the
$750 billion going into our economy is awesome.
Palestinians in terms of getting people fed. But the area of Gaza, another way of defining it is the area of Gaza. It's a very troubled place, and it has been for many, many years. It has been for many decades. So it's not like this just happened. This has been going on for a long period of time. So that's it. Our hearts are in the right place. We have some good news because the recent war that you just saw, they just announced, I see, the newest of the 5, now this would be 6 that we've stopped. I've stopped 6 wars in the last, I'm averaging about a war a month, but the last 3 were very close together. India and Pakistan and a lot of them. Congo was just done, Rwanda was just done. But you probably know, I won't go into it very much.
Motherfucker want the Nobel Peace Prize.
Because I don't know the final numbers yet. I don't know. Numerous people were killed, and I was dealing with 2 countries that we get along with very well, very different countries from certain standpoints. They've been fighting for 500 years, intermittently, and we solved that war. You probably saw it just came out over the wire, so we solved it through trade. I said, I don't want to trade with it.
Good morning, Miss Lotus. Good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
Anybody that's killing each other, so we just got that one solved. And I'm going to call the 2 prime ministers who I got along with very, very well and speak to them right after this meeting and congratulate them. But it was an honor to be involved, and that was going to be a very nasty war. Those wars have been very, very nasty. So we've done a lot of good work. We've had great support from the Prime Minister. Anytime we needed help, anytime we needed any form of support, you've been there. We appreciate it very much. And we're going to continue onward. We do have to take care of the humanitarian needs at what they used to call the Gaza Strip. You don't hear that line too much anymore. You don't hear the Gaza Strip, but it is the Gaza Strip, and it's amazing that it's not being handled a little bit differently. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We've got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food, and other nations.
That's good.
Are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also have called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up.
So you got to remember that this is not only a United States problem. This is not. It's an international problem. So this is one thing I do support out, our own funds going into something like that on an international emergency level. Like, I totally get it, but we can't just be the only ones contributing to this. It has to be an international thing. And I think that's one of the points that he's trying to make. Like, hey, this is This is not just an our issue here. You know,
nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there. So we're going to work very
Mr.
closely.
By the way, good morning to you,
together with your country, a great country. We also discussed inside that we are, there's a whole new thing happening with regard to energy from nuclear. Yeah. And the Prime Minister's looking at that very strongly. And I know you have Rolls-Royce nuclear plants. That sounds pretty good, right? I love that. What a great brand that is. But you're also doing the Rolls-Royce or the nuclear plants, the smaller plants. We're doing smaller and bigger, but the small is interesting. They do a small plant, very easy, very safe. And as they need more, they hook up another plant, and they have a series of plants instead of, doing the $20 billion plant. That gets tough for a lot of people to do. So we're just studying.
Oh, man, that's fucking awesome. We got 30 likes and 26 in the chat. You guys are fucking legends. That is true. W to the chat, man. Thank you guys for making the shows exactly what they are, man. I'm very honored by that.
And it sounds like you're very far progressed, but that's a great thing you're doing on nuclear. We opened up nuclear about 2 months ago, and it's now safe and very inexpensive.
No, we see civil nuclear as a big part of the future as we go to sustainable, independent energy. And I think that between the two of us, we can work very much more closely on this. And we've agreed that that's our ambition, that's our aspiration. And this is going to be a big part of the future when it comes to energy. And you can see in the last few years, energy has been weaponized. Prices have dictated both families and businesses across the United Kingdom. And therefore, taking control of energy is a huge prize. So the more we can work together on this, the better. And small modular reactors are a very big part of the future here. And we've got great companies like Rolls-Royce involved in that. So I'm very much looking forward to working together with you, Mr. President.
We'll do that today than I did before because I just met his wife and family. He's got a perfect wife and family. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting.
Right here.
It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but
there we go. There we go. This is what I want to end off right here with the new deadline for
we just don't
Russia.
see any progress being made.
Mr. President, just talks about setting up food centers in conjunction with other organizations.
Hold on.
Earlier you said that you were going to change the deadline from 50 days.
Yeah, I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today.
There it is.
Today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Mr. President.
Well, there it was. There it fucking was. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and end off there. I think that's a good place for us to, as truth seekers, we're looking for the truth here and trying to figure out the fact of what's happening in the landscape, man, which is a radical landscape nonetheless. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and make sure that we've got a raid set up. It looks like we can get, send you guys off to Black Dragon. He's live right now still, and I think he's talking about that kid in Florida, Jacksonville or whatever. So of course he's going to be having some weird, crazy ass discussion over there. He's definitely going to have a little bias over there, but nonetheless, stick around for the raid. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. I very much appreciate your guys' help and contribution to the show, man. And until tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.